So we've built up a picture now of the Avebury landscape as the venue for a festival that was an equivalent of the Opet festival of Thebes, and indeed was based on it. An Egyptian expedition had been sent out to found an oracle centre at this latitude, but it didn't include hordes of skilled labourers, so local labour had to be employed, with the result that, by Egyptian standards, it appears a relatively rude construction, but on a huge scale. It seems likely that the Avebury Opet festival took place in late winter when the water table was at its highest, so that the area around Silbury Hill was flooded, just as the Opet festival took place at the height of the Nile inundation in Egypt. It had processions where icons of the gods were carried on sacred boats along the stone avenues. There would also have been a great feast, and in fact the place where this took place seems to be known to us. Between Silbury and the sanctuary have been found archaeological indications of two great palisaded enclosures, in other words areas around which were great walls of posts. In fact, these posts seem to have been made from the trunks of quite large oak trees. One of the two enclosures had a second such palisaded ring within the outer, and the River Kennet flowed through the middle of it. The items found here consist of grooved ware pottery and a lot of bones from young pigs. These bones make it comparable to the Durrington Walls site near Stonehenge, where the age of the pigs eaten indicates that it was the site of winter feasting. It seems a similar conclusion can be drawn at the Avebury palisaded enclosures. This location, not just near but actually straddling the river, might seem an odd choice of location at this time of year when the low-lying chalkland was liable to bogginess and flooding, particularly when the water table was higher. It makes sense, however, if it was deliberately chosen for this reason, following the Egyptian model. In other words, it may be compared to those outer regions of the Karnak temple complex that were allowed to flood. The site may have been chosen, in other words, as part of a celebration of the part of the annual cycle that symbolically represented the British equivalent of the season of inundation. The oak pillars may, like the pillars of the Theban temples, have symbolised the first plants that grew when the primordial waters subsided. So we have this picture emerging of Avebury as the site of a great winter festival where an artificial flood zone had been created by the digging that simultaneously produced the great mound of Silbury. Digging itself would have been impractical at this time of year, and so would have occurred in the drier season of summer, but still it may have been infused and motivated by the sense that it was part of the preparation for this great feast. All this may provide insight into the forces that motivated people to build these gigantic structures. Building was tied up with partying and celebrating, as well as revivifying the gods and the earth, and you might even get an audience with the god so you could receive oracular guidance. With an expectation of that type of payback, you might actually consider getting involved.